This is the math of strength for phase 1. And what we're going to cover here is how to find where to start. What weight do you actually start with? Well, we're going to use a 5 rep max for just the conceptual purpose of this, but this works for 4s, this works for 2s, this works for 3s. And what we're going to go over is we're going to go over how to estimate and build up from there to the point where we're actually using the math from this phase to catapult upon what we're going to do in phase 2. So for 1, the first thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to do an estimation. You're just going to have to. We need to know a 1 rep max, how much you can do for 1 repetition at any point in time. So you need to estimate. Can you do 225 if you really had to? Could you do 200 pounds? Could you do 135? Could you only do 65? Estimate. You have to get an estimation in here too, but we're sure to be wrong here, right? We're sure to be wrong about this number, so we're not just going to go off of this. But let's say that you can do 200. Okay, you're going to say, okay, I think I can do 200 on a deadlift. I think I can do 200 on a bench, or I think I can do 200 on a squat, a row, whatever it is. Okay, because there's these percentages written into your program that you're going to have to use to take times this number to figure out what you should use. Your number might not be 200. Just stick with me here. So we're going to do an estimation. Now we're going to cut this thing in a quarter. We're going to cut this thing by 25% for your first set. So this is week 1, day 1, set 1. There's a cell there that has the weight that you're going to do. The reps are right here. Your exercise is over here. The weight that right here. What are we going to do for that set? We're going to do 25% of the estimation that we came up with. So we're going to do, what is that? That's 50. So we're going to do 50 pounds right there. That's what we're going to start with. This works for 4 reps, 5 reps, 6 reps, 3 reps, whatever it is that you're starting with. All right, the next set, we're going to go to, so the first set, we're going to do 25%. Figure out what that is. Do that for 1 set. And then we're going to go to 50%. So now we're at 100 pounds. Okay, you're going to use 100 pounds for your second set. I realize this feels extremely light, like nothing is there, like you're lifting your arms. That's good. That's what we want. All right, the next set, we're going to go to 75%. 75%, so we're up to 150 pounds on our third set. Now this might feel heavy. If this feels heavy, we need to stop. I'm not going to go through it right now. We're going to go through it here in just a second, but we need to stop right there and get forward this video to the calculation portion. But if that still feels light as a feather, we're going to do a plus 10%. Okay, so we do 10% of this is 20. So we're going to go up to 170 pounds for that set. If that set feels heavy, we're going to do the calculations. If that set doesn't feel heavy, you continue to go up by 10% until it does. Once you hit that point where it feels just even slightly heavy, and this is the thing we need to cover. Heavy is not, like 135 can feel heavy to just about anybody. Even if you could bench, 800 pounds, it might feel light. I'm talking about when it starts to feel just a little bit heavy, okay? So when you get to the point, what we're really looking for is if you're doing 5 reps and I were to be there with you and I said, how many more could you have done? And you said, oh, I probably could have done, 9, 10, 11 reps. Right there, that's where we wanted to stop. Okay, that was the point. If you're doing 3 reps and you said, and I said, how many more could you have done? And you say, I could have done probably 5, 6, 7. If you can do about double the amount of reps that you were doing, so if you were doing 4 and you could have done 8, this is the point where we need to stop. Don't move past this point. This is what we were looking for. Okay? And remember that week 1, we do not need hardly anything to get a stimulus here. It doesn't take much. Week 1, we're going to burn week 1 to get way more out of week 3, week 4, or week 2, week 3, week 4. Okay, so whenever it gets to that point, if you're doing 5 reps and you think that you could do 10, stop at 5 and do the calculations that we're about to do. And when you get to this point, let's say 170 was the point where it's like, man, like 170, that's kind of where it started to feel a little bit heavy. Now's the point where you take that and you divide that by 80%, okay? Because you think, a lot of people will think, like a lot of people ask me this, they're like, well, if I max out at 200 and I could take that out for 5, or if I max out and my 1 rep max is 200 and if I can do double the reps with that, doesn't that mean that my calculated max actually goes up to 400? It's like, no, it's not such a literal figuration like that. This is not like that. But when you get to the point where you can do about double the amount of repetitions that you think that you could do, like if you do 10 reps and you think you could do 20, if you get to 5 and you think you could do 10, you get to 3 and you think you could do 6, you're pretty close to 80% of your 1 rep max. And so now we just need to reverse calculate out of that and do 80% divided by 170. I don't actually have my calculator on me. That's funny. But take 80% divided by 170. You're going to get a certain total. And that's the number that is, and that's going to be very, very, switching out. That's going to be very close to your 1 rep max. Okay, extremely close to your 1 rep max. You want to use this. Take whatever number it is where you get to that point where you think you could have done about double the amount of reps. Take that divided by 80% to get your 1 rep max, and then you use that 1 rep max to go through week 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So you take this 1 rep max and you take it times the percentage that is in that set column, or in the weight column. You take it times that percentage, times the next percentage, times the next percentage, times the next percentage. You do that for week 3 and week 4, and then you do those out sticking to the math that you did do right here. Okay, what do we have? What else do we have? Okay, so we got heavy, we got the 80% rule. Okay, the other thing is never fail. Do not ever fail a rep. We don't want any failed reps. We want good, solid, controlled repetitions. If you are a powerlifter, save your failed reps for the meet. Okay, do not use them up in your training. If we're getting to a point where we're failing at a rep, we did a poor job of estimating here, and we're not getting what we could have out of the lift. We're not getting what we could have out of the exercise. All right, the other thing, slow, controlled. I don't care what anybody says. Slow, controlled on the way down. I'm not saying you got to take like 10 seconds to bring it down your chest, but you got to control that weight down. You got to control that weight down. You got to control that weight back down on a deadlift. Do not sit there and slam these weights around like an idiot. Get your ego out of the game. Slow, controlled reps. Touch the chest, drive back up under control. Be patient in the up portion, be patient in the lower portion, be patient in the isometric at the top and at the bottom. Get set before you do your repetitions. Okay, on the final set of your week. So we've gotten to week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. We've done set 1, set 2, set 3, set 4. This is a big deal. Okay, let's say that there's 4 sets that we're going to do. The last set right here is going to be what we calculate beyond for next phase. So phase 2 will be dependent on what we find right here. So we are going to do, like let's say it says 5 there, or it says 3 plus. We want to do out whatever our calculated number is for this set right here. Do it, and then if you can get 2 more reps, go ahead and do so. If it felt like you could only do 2 more reps when you get to this point, stop. If it felt like you could hit 4, 5, 6, 7 more, go ahead and take that out to 4, 5, 6. Anyway, take it out, but we want to end with 2. We want to end with 2 reps left. We don't want to actually fatigue ourselves out and miss a rep here. Okay? End with 2 reps left in the tank, 2 reps left in reserve. Okay? So if you could have hit 7, you end at 5. If you could have hit 10, you end at 8. Now, if you do get 8, whatever number it is right here, that's what you use to calculate back to this. So if you got 7 right there, you need to take that and you need to go to the chart, which we'll do for phase 2 in the next couple videos that you'll see in phase 2. But this will set you up for next phase. And phase 2 will be dependent upon this. So we really want to get a good set here. So you're building up to what this is. So this sets us up to be able to get here, or to be able to get all these in between and then get a good number here. And then this sets us up to be even more accurate in the next phase. So anyway, that's a math of strength for phase 1. Make sure that you're starting with 25, 50, and then 75%, and then going up by 10% increments after that. Once you get to a weight that feels slightly heavy, take that divided by 80%. That's going to give you your 1 rep max. Use that 1 rep max to calculate out your week 2, your week 3, and your week 4. When you get to the end of week 4, that last set of week 4, this is what's going to set us up for phase 2. Make sure to end with 2 reps left in the tank. Do not fail on any rep ever. We do not want to fail on a rep. If we're failing on a rep, we're using too much weight, we're impeding progress, we're sacrificing recovery, and we're not getting good technique because it's just micro levels of technical failure that we do not want. We want to be coaxing this gain along. Okay, and then we're going to move on to phase 2 by what we find right there. If you have any questions, grab this card, move it over to Coach Review, and ask me in there, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.